guys, welcome to another episode of Black RVers Podcast. I'm Miles, and this is Fox. I get confused every time. Oh man, I keep messing it up. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us for another episode. We have the pleasure today to be joined by a lovely couple who has been sharing their story of RVing online.
Yes.
Thomas Family Life.
Yeah.
So please welcome Thomas Family Life to the Black RVers Podcast.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have any sound effects or anything. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just gonna have a conversation with them, and as always, I'm sure, I hope that this will be beneficial to everybody who watches and listens and stuff like that. So, but I think Fox is going to do most of the moderating because she's really good at it, and I'm just here to support.
Yay. Okay, so first again, thanks so much for doing this, guys. We really appreciate you, and for doing this again because we did this before and our audio was messed up, but it's okay. It's okay. You've been gracious enough. You've been gracious enough to come back, so thank you so much. So the first question is, who is Thomas Family Life? Like, who are you all?
All right. We're a crazy group of four. And a puppy. Now, I think we're a family of four with a puppy. We sold it all to travel, to try to live a nomadic life. And turned it into a full-on family adventure. Mm-hmm. We did it for about a year now. So, we got a chance to really go coast to coast. And so it's been an amazing adventure over the past year. So we're excited to be here.
Cool.
Yes. And I guess I should say, did I miss it? Happy anniversary.
Yes, our anniversary.
Okay. Happy
anniversary. Thank
you. Now she's still with me, y'all. She's still with me.
We're in this for life, y'all.
Exciting.
Congrats.
Yes.
I promised her the moon and we got to Colorado.
Well,
it's nice in Colorado.
I was say.
That's the closest we can get, man. We're from Houston. Elevation is like, one.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Right.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So how long have you all been married? Like, how did you all meet? And what is?
Oh, that's it. That's a long question. That's a long answer.
Oh, okay.
So we've been married. We've been married 9 years. We actually attended the same high school. Roland we didn't date. We didn't even know each other. We seen that's what a story gets a little funny. Roland claims we knew each other, but we didn't. Each other. I didn't know his name. I didn't know. I just knew we had one conversation, and all of a sudden we knew each other. And I was not knowing each other, but but anyways, Roland graduated a year before me, and then I graduated, and 5 years later, bad relationships and all of this. We both just been single for probably about a year. Mm-hmm. And Roland made a post on Facebook, which I was surprised we were even friends on Facebook because I didn't even know
friends.
Friends. It's because we went to the same high school, and during that season, I would literally friend anybody who went to my high school. Yeah. So it didn't necessarily mean I knew you because we were on Facebook. It just meant that we have acquaintance or some kind of similarity that made me say, okay, I'll approve your friend request.
Right.
So that's how we were friends on Facebook. Roland made a post about how I guess he went on this date or whatever, and his girl didn't like him, and he was like, why do girls always want bad guys? Newsflash, there are good guys out there. And I had this failed relationship that went AWOP after it ended. And I was just like, you know what? No. All men are horrible. I don't subscribe to what you just said, and I want to voice my opinion. So we went into this whole dialogue, and Roland was so sweet, and he's just like, don't worry, Angel, Mr. Right will come along when you least expect it. And I don't think at that point he was trying to flirt or anything. I think he was just being sincere because that's just kind of how he is.
You just never know.
I don't know. I assumed he was just being nice, Yeah. So
plan
else. Anyway, a couple of days later, I guess like some mutual friends from high school, because I was in a band and Roland was a halftime announcer. So our our mutual friend Oscar messaged Roland. He played the saxophone. He's like, "Hey, I saw you talking to Angel. Is she single?" And he said, "I don't know."
I had to rev my plan up at that point.
Yeah.
Because now people scoping. So gotta be quick with it.
Okay.
He reached out to me and said he wants to catch up. Like, he didn't know I had a daughter by then, and this, that, and the other, and he wants to, catch up. So I gave him a call, and we started talking. 2 weeks later, and think about this, we were long distance. Roland was in San Antonio, and I was living here in Houston. So that's another part of our story.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks later, we were long distance chatting every day, and we decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend. A month later, we were engaged, and a month after that, we were getting married.
Yep.
Wow.
Today, we moved to Abilene, Texas, where we started our life together.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been road tripping since the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're our little road warrior.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's me simplifying and speeding up the story. But in the gist, we got married in 3 months of starting to chit chat via Facebook, and it just
here we are. 9 years later.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah.
I think
That is awesome. It almost sounds like a movie.
Right.
it was
it was.
very comical.
Well, I would just say the best thing we did was keep the Lord center of our marriage and our life. And when things got tough, because they did, obviously we lived long distance. We had never, it's not like, you go to your boyfriend's house and, you realize how messy he is, or, you kind of, hang out for long periods of time and you realize there are annoying little habits before you get married. We were long distance. We talked via like Zoom or something. Yahoo Messenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a different dynamic. Seeing him hang his jeans off the bedroom door drove me crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so first 3 years were rocky.
Talk about.
Well, they want to know a story. So first 3 years were a little cray-cray. Okay, we went to marriage counseling. We got into life groups. We never even knew that there was such thing as life groups.
That's cool.
And that really transformed our marriage. We learned how to be in healthy relationships and treat each other right and have respect for each other. We both grew up in single family households, different dynamics, but they really shaped us, and part of the reason why we were so crazy.
I think that's beautiful. I know we're not talking about marriage necessarily, but it's really refreshing. It's really refreshing, to hear other married couples talk about going to counseling, because I think that's such a ooh, you're in counseling. Oh, what's wrong with? But I really believe counseling helps everybody.
Pro counseling,
yes,
and really in our community too.
Yeah,
right. It's like everything's going down if you go to counseling. It's like not really.
No.
Yeah.
The best thing we could have done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you try to have a conversation, you can't get through that conversation, or y'all trying to get to some sort of understanding. You can't get to understanding. There's probably some mechanical things that you need to learn in order to have these tough conversations.
Yeah.
And if you never practiced it, before being married, then you need someone who can help you walk through that process. Because sometimes even a book, books are fine, but a book is saying so many words, but you need someone to help you just
who's outside of the house, the marriage or the household, that can help you to work things out. Yeah. So it was definitely probably the best thing we could have done.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
And I also resonate with what you were saying about unlearning things. I think when we got married, we had to unlearn, because I had been in some horrible relationships, and people say oh yeah, I don't want any baggage, but the thing is, we're people and we carry baggage. It's just natural. And so and getting married, I think Miles has said it's a mirror. It really shows you who you are. And there are things that I felt have been shown to me, you know, he's not these people that I've dated. He's not these, you know, experiences that I've had. And, you know, it's it being unfair, but also like needing that like third party to come in and be like, okay, this is what's happening here. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now that we're celebrating 9 years of marriage, that's amazing.
It's awesome. I'm excited.
I love
Life
that.
Yeah.
Yes. So take us to like right before you all decided to embark on this journey. So like, what was life before you all actually started like RVing, or like, I guess, thinking about RVing?
A typical day for us would be Roland would go to work. I'm home with the children and we homeschool. When you get off work, we go to church. We might volunteer, you know, something like that. Our life was very normal. You know, it was very normal. Then Roland decided to go for the 2020 Olympics, and that changed everything.
Yeah. So again, I mean, so I was doing sales. I worked for an industrial supplier. I said outside sales were, you know, it was, you know, corporate America, you know, sales. And so, we'd do that. We had our routine, you know, we would, again, you know, when I come home, sometimes I just let, you know, since she was a full-time mom, you know, I would kind of give her a break, you know, and let her go do some things, relax. And then I take the kids, you know, versus other scenarios that it could have went. But, you know, we realized the more healthier thing to do is to let mom have a break. Because she,
I mean, you know, really good.
I was real sensitive to that, you know. So again, so we do that, you know, or we go to church, or and then I started training we work out, you know, or I started training for the Olympics. And so, you know, I tried out for the U.S. Karate Olympic team, you know, because karate was being featured for the first time in 2020 Olympics, which it's a shot right now, but you know, I was going for my opportunity to do that. So it was a lot of work. So then we started dedicating a lot of time to my training, which was 6 days, almost 7 days a week, you know, of training. It was bananas. But you know, that's what we're doing. And then when we took the trip so I can go to the trials, we took off for like 2.5 weeks, and then we made a whole road trip out of it and made our way up to Reno, and then it reignited a dream that we had before we got married, which was to take I-10 around the whole country, you know, and just see the whole country.
That's cool.
It reignited that dream, and then when I came back, I didn't make the team, you know, but I got pretty close. So I'll give up the pass. Right?
Yes.
So it you know, amen. And so and so when we came back, we was like, well, you know, we just, you know, cut our losses, and hey, man, let's go for the RV. Let's go for the RV adventure, you know. And at that time, we didn't know it was RV. We just knew
we
get on the road and
outfit a Jeep, and so we were gonna go rugged on them, y'all.
We was go overland. Wow. And we go overland. We go pack all 5 of us in a Jeep in overland.
Woo.
You know? So we saw another couple do that. You know, the Jeep dream came to a quick end when we realized it's gonna be about $250,000. You know, to get that whole thing outfitted.
That's the way we wanted it to be. You know, all the additions that we wanted it to have would have cost us a lot of money. So we went.
I could be over-exaggerating.
He is over-exaggerating.
Probably like $150.
It was a lot, though.
Okay, that's still a lot. Yeah,
like 40, 45.
Yeah,
you know, so
you know, you got to
that in itself, and then you got to put the shower attachment and you know all of the other things.
All that stuff. So you know, it seemed like every modification you put on a Jeep was like $1,000.
Yeah,
like, man, every time I adjust, $1,000. You know, so that wasn't in the budget.
$1,000.
I was, and actually, I said maybe we could almost kind of do something. We just start a little bit and add on to it. But then when I realized, you know, I was watching a couple. Who was it? What's the name of them? The Epic Family Road Trip, you know. So I'm watching when they lifted the hood of that Jeep, and they said, "Oh, we had to change the whole inside, the battery, so they can, you know, run all the electronics." I said, "Oh my gosh!" So the hood, they dropped like $50,000. I said, "Oh no, it's over." We ain't doing the Jeep. That was my tipping point. I said, nah, baby, we ain't doing the Jeep. You know,
that's intense.
So we end up going, elimination from there.
Yeah.
Jeep, van, then we settled on the RV.
Yeah.
And from there it was all, comfort and budget based. So
end
up getting a truck trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
So you all, I know in the beginning we were watching your videos and you all like remodeled your RV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that process like for you? Like to actually like bring your own vision to life and actually add your own like personal touches to the RV?
Well, I did it pretty much solo. Roland helped like cutting like the machine,
cutting
the
shiplap,
the faux shiplap that we created.
That was it.
He just cut it for me. So pretty much the entire thing I did my own. And at first it was exciting.
Yeah.
Finding things on Pinterest.
Yeah. That's always fun.
That was really fun. Yeah. And then I ripped everything out and I got terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Look, I'm telling you, I was the one like, man, this actually looks pretty good. We don't have to do nothing to it.
And I was like, homie, I want to
Angel coming there. Oh yeah, we can take this out, take this out. We can just take the whole counter off. And I was like, take the whole, it's a good counter. Look at that.
Oh my goodness. Well, in the end, it all turned out okay.
Praise God.
It all turned out okay, but it was winging it the whole time.
Oh man, yeah, that was funny.
Mm-hmm. So, as far as the experience, I mean, it was definitely an adventure in itself. I would say it was an adventure in itself. I proved to myself that I can do hard things. I
love that.
That's good.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So, what was it like for you all transitioning from, I guess, like the 9 to 5, going corporate? Like, I mean, I'm sure you can homeschool on the road as well, but like going from like a sticks and bricks home to an RV.
Yeah, it was really different. You want to start off?
Yeah. So we had a couple of things in place prior, right? So we was already homeschooling. So, for the whole kids to transition thing out, that wasn't a big deal because we was already homeschooling. So then we're like, all right, well, Angel, so Angel's already kind of doing small things. She would, sell bath bombs and make different kind of buy buttons, stuff like that. So she was already doing some things online, and then we started selling on Amazon, and so we have our retail arbitrage business, and so we was already starting to do that and just doing, just doing arbitrage. Mm-hmm. So because what we needed a way to have location free income.
Right.
And so, even though I was doing the sales, I mean, I had a territory, so I couldn't just leave the territory. Mm-hmm. So it was like, all right, well, we got to create some kind of online business, Yeah. So then we started legit a year prior, right? Okay. We started Amazon. We started trying to figure out how we could sell her stuff online. Mm-hmm. And then we started looking at eBay, and so we end up really settling down with Amazon because what we can do with them was we can buy the products and ship it to them. Mm-hmm. And so when we buy the products and ship it to them, we don't have to keep it in our RV.
Right.
So it's there, they sell it, and then we don't touch anything, Yeah. And so that ended up being the best scenario for us, starting off. So once we got the hang of it, man, we were trucking, we were moving with it. And, the rest is history.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
As far as homeschooling, I think the one challenge was when you're in a home, like it's easy to have your routine. Everybody meet at the table. We get our books, we had our breakfast, our prayer time, and then we get started on our schoolwork. Well, when you're like, traveling, you have to resettle, especially with children. You have to resettle, establish a new routine. And I think the biggest thing we had to overcome was just learning to be flexible with that, and not try so hard to keep your system, because it's different. It's a different dynamic, So we went from this daily system to like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So that helped a lot because then we would just go to a coffee shop and then we knew we settled down at a table and we get our work done, Yeah. So that helped us a whole lot versus the everyday type of thing. And then it's just like the kids are just like their brain hurts because they're resettling. My brain hurts because, I'm trying to force this thing to happen. Yeah. So we found, the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off was like the best situation for us.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with that, we had initially, we had an online-based curriculum, and then we moved to more of a book system from the same providers. And so that, because we knew that, internet may be kind of spotty. So that was one aspect. And then the other aspect, we didn't have to worry about a kid cheating online. So,
she wouldn't cheat, but what would happen is she'd get distracted and watching, YouTube making slime videos, and she's doing that. She's supposed to be doing schoolwork. So, so we shut that down by getting her books and just, a computer, so there's no distractions unless you have to do a research paper or something. So
Google the answers,
That's funny. Were there any like concerns that you all had before going into RVing, or what was it just like, this is what we're gonna do, we're committed, or were there things that you had to like flesh out or like kind of, I guess, second guess while you started going on the road?
No, I mean, it wasn't a lot of concerns. Again, we're feet first people.
Yeah, I think we just were super open-minded, and we were already just looking forward to learn. So we didn't have these set expectations in mind. We just went in there open-minded, like, I don't know, childlike faith kind of thing. And we allowed our environment, our situation to teach us instead of trying to make things be a certain way, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't try to have everything we needed
didn't have anything
before
planned.
we started,
We didn't have our stops planned and all, like all of that. We just wung it.
Yeah, we knew we were going to go west. So we would just go west. I mean, we didn't have all the different things we needed. When we hit the road, that was legit. Maybe the second time I towed the RV. I towed it to the place we stopped it at. Parked it at so we can renovate it. And when I picked it up again, we were leaving.
Wow.
So that's interesting. Oh yeah, it was fun.
It was a whole bunch of new experience.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. We did pick it up another time before that. We picked it up when we went to go.
You had to dump it. Oh no, we thought we had to dump it.
Yeah.
We didn't actually have to. We had a propane leak, and we were kind of trying to figure out where the smell was coming from, and we thought it was tanks, but it was a propane leak. And praise the Lord, look, guys, we're inside the RV in the living room, kitchen, dining, same.
Yeah.
Roland has this table set up, and he's sawing with power tools in the RV to saw my shiplap, my faux shiplap. And we had a propane leak, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like for a week, 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We had headaches, and we couldn't figure out why.
No.
We're not putting two and two together. I thought I was tired. I thought I was just wearing myself out, because I was doing this, and I had this date that I was trying to get it done, all in like 2 months, I think, all by myself, And so with all the stress and everything, I was thinking I'm having headaches, and I wasn't eating a lot. So, I had my little protein bars and my little bananas that I was snacking on. And so, because I'm trying to get everything done.
Right.
I'm thinking maybe I'm feeling sick because I'm not eating well, I'm tired because I'm not sleeping a lot. I'm working on all the time, So I didn't put two and two together. And then the smell, Roland kept saying, I need to go dump that black tank. I think they didn't dump it, before we just pulled it to us.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just not. And it was the most novice thing, right?
Yeah.
We looked, and all it was that the knob for the stove is slightly got hit, so it had turned to light, and so it would just stayed in light position. It was just kind of light.
Oh my gosh!
Well, God is good.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
That was we almost blew up.
Yeah.
We could have walked right.
And it's so crazy because normally the kids would be in the RV with me while I was working, but for some reason they kept wanting to be in the car so they can listen to music or watch a movie or something like that on the iPad. And so they wanted to be plugged into the battery so they can do that. So they weren't coming into the RV with me while I was working. They were just staying in the car. And so it was just the Lord was just protecting them because I can't even imagine Victory being in there smelling and all of that, and she's the smallest one,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So other than that, have you all have any other like experiences where things didn't kind of go right or they just went totally left? Like
The whole time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So my favorite one. So we now we have a 2-wheel drive truck. All right.
Okay.
So, we was like a 2-wheel drive truck. So we're at La Plata Cane. We're trying to get out the cane.
Okay.
Now, it's already like a kind of quirky space. So I backed the RV up and I'm trying to go up the little rocky deal. My truck's not liking it. It's 2-wheel drive. So I'm trying to go up. It's just
no, it slipped back.
So getting there. So I pressed the brake and it don't stop.
Oh.
So we're just going backwards. Yeah. The RV is just taking us back.
No.
And it's a river right at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? The RV's come back. I'm just like, oh God. I mean, when you press the brake and then you put the emergency brake on and it's still
ooh.
got a problem.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to do.
Hopefully we hit a tree.
No idea. I mean, legit, no idea what to do. And then even to make it worse. So again, this is just all kind of just novice mistakes. We didn't have no trailer brakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. We're just guessing if the brakes are like stopping on the trailer. They not. And they ain't working. Them jokers ain't working because they ain't activating them. So it's literally the brakes on my truck, and they ain't doing nothing. It's just coming on back. And so I have no idea how we got out that can. It was God's grace. Because I'm like, we weren't.
One more example though.
Yeah.
You guys, we had our bikes hooked onto. You know where the black tank hose goes into, that thing that's connected to it? We had our bike rack hooked on there, 4 bikes, and apparently it was too heavy because that thing started to peel off at the metal. The metal was peeling and it was hanging, and we were driving in Colorado. You guys were in Colorado, like some of the highways off the side of a mountain, and they're one, and so hanging on by a hair, we pulled over by happenstance at a Walmart, and they all. It's just hanging. Leaning. I'm like, if that thing had fully broke off, I mean, it could have really hurt someone.
Yes.
All 4 of the bikes would have been
gone.
Who
knows from there? It just would have been a really bad situation.
It would have been our fault.
It would have been our fault.
That's wild.
That
was crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
We still ain't fixed that thing.
No. It's just there, holding.
No weight on it though. I mean, look, and so we took that off, and then so we had the spare tire on there, and the spare tire just took it all the way down.
So
bent it all the way flat.
Can't even put the tire on there.
They can't put the tire on there. So,
oh my God.
So we have to literally get the thing re-welded back to the frame.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm like, I ain't about it.
Right.
I took a hammer and beat it back straight and put some.
This is real life, y'all.
What's that tape?
The flex tape stuff.
Gorilla glue?
No.
Oh yeah.
The flex tape. You literally slap it on the water. Yeah. That don't work. Number one, and then
we know. We got some experience.
There goes our sponsored ads.
Yeah.
No, just
right.
That's funny. That would be hilarious.
I flex tape.
This is a fail.
Yeah. So our bumper's held up by flex tape.
That's okay. Listen, I've been there with my cars. Listen, make it work.
Do what you gotta do.
Absolutely.
I think part of our car right now is being held up.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
So what were some challenges that you faced? Like, so clearly these learning experiences. What were some other challenges you faced? What they could be, with the RV, they could be with people, they could be just with finances or anything. What were some challenges?
I would when you guys were preparing to make this transition, did you have to deal with family or friends kind of maybe coming to conclusions about you or, the choices that you were making?
Oh yeah. I feel like people were kind of just watching.
Yeah.
So many people that we know, they didn't want to say anything mean, but they also didn't say anything nice. You know what I mean? So they were just kind of watching.
Yeah.
how this was gonna go,
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
and it's like their silence, because it was so many, it was so loud,
Yeah.
versus,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you or anything like that. Like there's the amount of silence was so
definite.
deafening.
Right.
It's just so obvious, so
Like, I mean, so we're gonna like travel. We're gonna like travel for a year, for like, we're gonna travel for a year or 2 or 3 or 4.
and then you get that look, it's just like
so
That's funny.
Right.
what?
Y'all all right?
Right.
You going for like a vacation? No, we're like leaving
Yeah.
Right.
and coming back every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And then my sister, she was just crying. Yeah, I was like, we don't even see each other all the time now. just y'all just be okay out there.
Yeah,
we're gonna be fine.
But I think for those, like my mom, like she was, like, y'all be careful, and all of this stuff. So it's, sister, mom, that's kind of like tight family.
Yes, it is.
Anybody else, like, it was just kind of like, just gonna see how y'all do.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah, no.
It was funny. It was funny. Yeah, it was real funny. It's kind of like when I told my boss, he was like, "What?"
Well, I think the other thing was like, oh, black people don't do that.
Oh yeah,
that was a lot. I mean, if anybody said anything, it was probably that, or like Roland, his coworker told. Who she told?
Yeah. She told her dad, and then her dad was like, "Is he white?" She's like, "No, he a brother."
So that was, or it's like black people don't do that, or y'all ain't black, like we know y'all black, y'all ain't black. It's like,
right.
What does that even mean? But okay,
I know.
Okay. How did y'all feel about that? Like when one, your blackness is being questioned, but then also like this idea that like black people don't insert whatever, like they don't go out in the woods and camp, they don't RV, they don't, what I'm saying, fish, like, what I'm saying? How did that make y'all feel?
I probably been lost my black card. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but it is hurtful. Like we can't pretend like it's not hurtful.
Yeah.
Like it's hurtful because, for one, it's hurtful to me because they think like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's the hurtful thing. It's like, I don't want anyone to feel like they can't accomplish something in life because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's the hurtful thing. It's not that I take offense at it, but it's just that as a collective community, we are good. We're amazing people. Why would we water ourselves down to say that we're not good enough or we aren't worthy enough to accomplish things that we want to do? Yeah. But because there's this stereotype that we don't do that, we hold ourselves back to not do that. Yeah. Like to me, that was the biggest issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, I almost like with everything I've done, right? I mean, like when I started karate, I was in the hood. And so in the hood, they're like, dude, you black people don't do karate, man. We from the streets, man. We just fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I mean, I can learn karate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then my karate school is like a white school, right? So it's like, so so from there, I mean, and I was a kid, I'm the one who learned badminton. I learned table tennis, I learned all this different stuff. And so, I was just, I just never fit in. I mean, so you have that, I went to school for infrastructure assurance, so that was the first thing. That's the first thing I heard. Like, man, black people don't do computers and stuff like that. I was like, dude.
What?
You said something like they're not going to let you do that.
Yeah. Guys, they don't let black people into professions like that. I was like, dude, what? Like, that's crazy. This is America. We have the opportunity to do whatever we want to do.
Which takes it back to my point. Like, that's hurtful as a community, as a collective. Like, why are we thinking that way? So.
And so then, when you get out there, and then you don't see a lot of us, or you hiking and you don't see a lot of us, you're like, man, God, we are seriously missing out because no one out here really cares what we look like.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's not like people be like, Black folks, you know, like, I mean, we haven't really experienced a lot of that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we get the high fives on Zion, man. They're like, hey, you know, so everybody just trying to climb Angel's Landing. Don't fall. You know, that's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all in unison, do not fall off the mountain. You know? You know, if you slipping, hey, they don't care what you look like. Hey, we got you. You know what I'm saying? Or you walking through the Grand Canyon, you know, they don't care. They're like, stay close to the wall. They don't want to see you go. You know what I'm saying? And they don't want to see anybody go. You know, it's like, it's that sort of thing. And so I think just we limit ourselves for no reason. And I think that's the, you know, it's because, you know, in the community, we put these limiting beliefs on ourselves, and there's really no limits. Like RV, you know, RV don't care what you look like. Just don't drive it off a cliff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and even driving off the cliff don't care what you look like.
You know, so I just never bought into the whole thing that I can't do something based upon where I look. You know, they already told me I couldn't do something because I grew up in a single family home. They already told me I couldn't do something because I grew up in the hood. Every time I couldn't do something because, you know, all of the statistics that they got there. So I seriously made it a point to, for whatever statistic they said I shouldn't be able to do, I just did it.
Right.
What is statistic going to tell me about who I am? That's just how I've always approached it.
No, I love that. Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
I thought you were about to say something. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, woo, it got hot up in here, y'all.
No, I love what you said though about like that you're deliberately going against what the statistic says. Especially just as Black, because I understand like Black people's experiences are different in different places. Like I think people look at us as like we're one dimensional or like all are the same. And I think we've had the opportunity, I call it a privilege, to grow up in the DMV area and in PG County specifically, where majority is Black. And so I've had the opportunity to see every kind of Black person. I've had the person who's in nature, the person who is in IT, the person, you know what I'm saying? So these limiting beliefs that, you know, might be outside in a broader sense. It's like, oh, well, Black people, you know, don't do this. I'm like, oh, well, I know such and such, and they do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it's normal. But I do understand, like, for Black people who might live in a more, I don't know, I guess, isolated place or isolated community where they don't see people achieving the things they want to achieve or doing, because you can only dream as much as you can see, right? So it's like, or as much as you know that you can, but if no one's showing you that you can, then like, you're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I'm going to go along with this narrative. I'm going to go along with what's being said. And so,
I'm saying, I mean, I think that's the beauty of social media. You know, I think that's the beauty of YouTube, you know, it gives you a unique opportunity to see outside of your box. You know what I'm saying? Like when I wanted to, you know, meet someone who was successful, you know, that was a Black person that was successful. The first person I ever met, I was a part of the NAACP AXO program. So I went there for entrepreneurship. You know, they recruited me, and then I did the academic competitions and stuff like that. But that was the first time I met a Black millionaire, you know, and the dude was a sculptor.
That's cool.
Wow.
And I'm like, a sculptor? You know, like, make $1 million as a sculptor. You know, I didn't know that was a thing. But the dude was like, yeah, man, went to Paris and this and that. And he does all kind of sculptures for businesses. And I'm like, what? And I didn't know it was a thing. But that was the first time I met a Black millionaire. And I was like, wow. You know, and then it just kept going from there, you know? But that happened because I went to a college night and ended up meeting the people who ran the Houston chapter of the NAACP AXO program. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about community. Like, I know you all were saying like your community is like really important to you all, and I think I've seen you talk about like how you've gone to, like, when we, I guess, off recording, whatever, but how you all would go to different like gatherings and things like that. Like, how do you all go about building community or keeping community while you guys are on the road?
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess one for our kids, right? When this is kind of something my daughter does, but she'll make like when we meet people, like for example we went to Utah and we met just an awesome church family there, right? Just great people. And so my daughter created like a little text group with all of the girls there, and so she stays in contact with them, through the little text group.
And they still hang out, so it's pretty cool.
FaceTime and all that stuff. But when they hear about,
they have this little app. I don't know what it's called, but they can video record and talk and like seem like they're kind of doing what we're doing now, but they do it every day. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's one way. And then like our goal was to when we go to a place, find a church community, find a church community, because we're believers, so we'll look up a church that kind of seems like it fits what we believe, and we go visit it, since we generally slow down in each place.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
Yeah. So in that particular instance, we slowed down. We were there for a month in Utah. And right away I think that week, like the next day was Sunday.
Yeah.
So we went to church and we met these cool people and we found out about their life group. That Wednesday we went to their house and hung out and, got to know everybody and, broke some bread. And that day Ariel met her group of friends. And so we put together play dates and, all these different things. And and so at the life group, we end up meeting my friend Joy. We're still friends. My friend there, and we would get together with Joy and her husband like pretty much every other day.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's cool.
We would just hang out and share stories and all of these different things, and then we end up serving with them at a battered women's shelter.
I love it
cool because then the kids could even be involved because they were able to play with the other little kids, and that was like a really good example of us building community with other people while we were on the road.
Yeah. How do you like get up enough? Like it's like courage. I don't want to say courage, but like I know a lot of people. It could be off-putting, I guess, like, or it could be intimidating, I should say. It could be intimidating for people to like try to, hey, let's be friends. Right,
meet people.
Like, so how do you get up like the nerve to like start, seeing if someone's going to be receptive of you and to start building relationship?
You just got to put it out there.
I don't think we build the nerve. It's just that for one, when you go to church, like especially if the church isn't like huge, if it's not like a 40,000, people or even 3,000, people room. Yeah. When you go to a smaller church, they recognize the new people. And so they come to you, they're like, hey, tell me something about you. What's going on? Yeah. We tell them a little bit about our story, especially when you say, oh, we're traveling, we're really just passing through. We're probably going to be here a couple of weeks and, they won't be on our way. And you start to share a little bit of your story and it's just intriguing to people because that's weird,
Like, so you just moved in town? No, we're literally traveling. We were here for like a month. And then So
it's a conversation starter, I think. As far as like our situation, it's a conversation starter. And then, from there, it's choosing to plug yourself in and, like, for instance, we signed up to go to someone's house for a study, like a Bible group, and then from there we met people, like I met my friend Joy, and, we really clicked personality wise. And so we just kept getting together, so
I love that. I admire you all, and I admire other people like that. We haven't really had that many opportunities to really.
No, not really.
I mean, I guess we could have in theory, but a lot of times we were like away from people. Yeah. And so like, for boondocking in the woods, it's like, oh, the closest neighbor is like, all the way down the street.
Absolutely. Like,
so there's another instance.
Yeah. Cause like, I mean, I think there was some parts of Colorado that, we were legit. We were off in the boonies too. So we didn't go,
so it was just family time.
It was just reading our Bible amongst ourselves, and having our own family Bible study, which I think is probably the bigger and most important thing. So we brought the church experience right into our RV. So the worship music, and we'll have our own church right there. And we'll talk about stuff and just have a full on Bible study church service in our RV.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think that prepared us for the now.
Close down, y'all.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing for us. We're like, oh, we've been doing this.
It's real. That is so real. I wanted to ask that because I know a lot of people, like, that's one of their fears and their worries is like, well, what am I going to do for friends? You know what I mean? Or I don't want to be lonely, or, you know, or even if they don't mind being alone, they don't want to be alone for so long. You know what I mean? So,
well, you know, I mean, it's also part of it too.
Yeah.
It's just the nomad life is not a huge, you know, it may depend on how you do it. You know, if you go from RV park to RV park, that's different. You know, you're gonna have some friends, and you still gonna have to have that disconnect deal. Yeah. But when you do the boondocking, I mean, it's
you might
lonely.
be the only person out there.
It is what it is, you know. And so, but we knew that too. Yeah. So we wanted to maximize the times that we do get a chance to be around people. We try to maximize that by, you know, find a life group, trying to serve with them, you know, do something like that. That was kind of our thought process behind it, you know.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Having that thought before you even went out on the road instead of this expectation, or I guess no expectation, and kind of just being blindsided by the stillness and like the alone time there might be on the road. I think that's really key. Before we got on here, we were talking about pivoting and like this idea of like, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay if, you know, things happen. So we all know, like at the beginning of this year, everything got turned upside down. You know, I know a lot of RVers had to either go back home or like try to find some sort of place to shelter in place because a lot of, like, you know, the parks were closed. And for a lot of people like us, like both like us, we had to go back to the place home, you know, and again, having the privilege of going back home, because a lot of people don't. I'm grateful. But it also had people rethink things and like, okay, so things are going to change. And we also talked about, even before the pandemic hit, how, you know, for both of us, like our journeys were kind of being rerouted, so to speak. And so do you want to speak to that? Like, you know, if you want to like say like what happened, but also where you all are going now, how you all have pivoted and used this experience to just make a different life for yourselves from what you saw from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, the pivot is, you know, it's crucial, right? You know, I think you know, many people, you know, they'll go and they get so, you know, locked in and gun ho on the goal of okay, I'm starting RV, I'm going to RV full time, and I'm going to make this happen. And I think it takes a lot of that power and a lot of that energy to get it going. But then, you know, you get there and then stuff happens. You know, so COVID happens, or, you know, or you run out of money. You know, the businesses that you start off with, you know, don't make it, right? You know, and so you're like, well, man, you know, I done told all these people I'm traveling full time, and the whole plan that I had is now crumbling. What do I do? You know, and for us, I mean, you know, we just said, okay, well, the one part of us traveling was to find a place to call home. So we were always looking for that too as we were traveling. And so when it hit, I'm like, all right, well, what are we doing? I mean, the business that we had was starting to slow. The business we had was slowing down. All other things came into play that just legit stopped all the money that we had coming in. We're like, what in the world? And so then we said, all right, well, you know, what we realized was that we love Texas, and we saw some things that Texas did during the pandemic that really reaffirmed why we love Texas. and so you know, we end up you know, coming back full circle and buying land here in Texas. And so we said, all right, well, we still have our home now we have some land. So, you know, what you know, the other part of the thing that we learned in this was creating a sustainable lifestyle, right? We wanted something that's, you know, we just want to create a sustainable lifestyle, healthy and all that stuff. And so, so then we see now we see homesteading. So we're like, all right, well, you know, we can build on that. We can, you know, put our RV on our land and start this homesteading project and tiny living kind of project. So that
in itself is a journey, because we've never done anything like that before, not even close to it, you know? So the whole thing is a whole new journey. But I think when we first came back, we thought we were going to go back on our road.
Yeah.
We didn't know that this is what we were going to end up doing. It just something that just kind of happened, you know?
Right.
And so we decided to just go for it and just do it. And I'm excited about that, you know? So we want to do like off-grid, still sustainable living, homestead type thing. I've never canned before. I've never gardened before. I've never done any of that before. So...
And then to top it off, you know, we're going to do it like with the container home deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to get the container. We're going to build a container home.
Yeah.
The whole container, off tiny home, container, sustainable living, garden, all that stuff. You know? So
you all are living my dream, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that is what I want. I've literally talked about this for like all I watch are like container home videos. Like I'm like, oh
really?
Here it comes.
Like I would love that. Again, I don't know how much like in this area anyway. Like land is like land is a little hard to come by for price and space.
Come to Texas.
Down to Texas.
But it would be amazing, and we probably would have to consider going somewhere else. Just because, again, in the DMV is because the area is just really expensive. Yeah. But that is my dream, like to live off grid. And I mean, technically, you all have started tiny living. You said you haven't. You're preparing for this. Like you spent a whole year, on the road. Let alone like now you have your own land. Like this is what people dream of, like having their own land and their own space and stuff like that. So that's really, really cool. That is cool. So how did you all come to that conclusion that that's what y'all were gonna do?
How did we come to that conclusion?
Well, so, I would drop. So we were reading this book. There's a book called about.
Okay, good. Keep going.
So it's a Christian fiction novel.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's by a guy named Mark Goodwin. Right.
So good.
Well,
go look him up.
You look at Mark Goodwin.
Days of Noah.
Yeah.
Days of Elijah. Start with Days of Noah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Christian nonfiction, but
it's solid.
Tell me it don't sound like today. Just tell me.
Okay.
So, we were, and Angel's like, man, we it's almost prepper style. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, nearly there. Pretty much there.
No, I'm like, it is there.
It's that, Not full on, just satellite phones, but we'll get one. But but it's being able to being able to generate your own food and have your food sustain you, and then you again, but living in an RV, man. I mean, you realize that when you don't need as much stuff, you don't need all that other stuff. If you can just figure out water and power, man, you're in a good place.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you can do that. When you live in an RV for a while, you realize you can actually do that.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of container homes, especially on the coastal region, they're already wind resistant, weather resistant.
Yeah.
So, the whole hurricane stuff and that. I mean, it's already resistant for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we could figure out figure out all, I guess all other farming and all other stuff. It'll all work out. But yeah. So that's kind of how we came to it. We wanted to live the healthiest lives that we can live. And being able to create our own food, have a house that would maintain off itself. I think it'd be ideal because then I think you could really double down on putting money in your pocket and all that stuff. If you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy because there's like this move where a lot of people are trying to go off grid. They're just like. They're done with this version of life that we've been living. And they're also realizing that, you don't need as much stuff as we think we need, or this dream that we've been sold since like childhood. Like, this is what you have to do. It's like, actually, I don't want anything to do with it. I just want a simple life,
right.
And I love that. My only fear, I guess, with that is, just kind of a side note, my only fear with that is like that people have made it very like trendy. Yeah. And people are just like, you know what I mean? Like, and almost like inaccessible. So not only are like the expensive homes inaccessible, or like RVs in a lot of places are inaccessible because how much they cost. Yeah. RV parks are really expensive. When people are thinking about alternative living, it's like, okay, now this is becoming, a thing too. Yeah. I mean,
when people, I've seen some of these container homes. I'm like, they're like $150,000. They went, come on, y'all. And they're like, this small.
Yes.
What?
You might as well just get a regular house. Like,
I'm like,
you're just uncomfortable for no reason at this point.
Yes.
But you can legit, as we've been researching, right? I mean, you can buy, I think it's a max height 40 foot. So I think what max height is 8 to 9 feet by 40 foot. And then about a little bit about 8 feet wide or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's bigger than your RV.
Yeah. It is.
And now, obviously, we're not gonna just do one.
We're not doing one.
Stack them and kind of put them however we want to.
But that one container, if you get used, you probably can find a decent one used for about $5,000. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, well, you can legit get the framework of your home, for $5,000.
Yeah.
You outfit the rest of it, all that other stuff. But the frame. $5,000. That ain't bad.
It's not. Yeah. It really isn't.
You slice and dice the rest of it, and build it all out. I mean, and if you have your RV, and then you building out your container,
right?
You can take your time with. Don't really kill it. Don't really crush your bank with it.
Yeah.
So are you all doing it yourself? Rebuilding it yourself?
Probably some parts.
Some parts of it. But the things we don't know how to do, like I don't know. We haven't come to that conclusion yet.
Okay. Yeah,
we're probably going to do most of it ourselves, though, to be honest. Just the cost.
That's beautiful.
No, we're not spending the
No go.
So, we're just back the RV in it and take the wheels off.
right, exactly. Prop it up.
That's funny.
I'm sorry I shook the table, y'all. That was funny.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I've had that thought before too. Like,
take it off the wheels.
Yeah, just put that joint on some blocks. Right. Good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, y'all forgive me. Oh man.
Y'all have really inspired me. I love that y'all just I love that y'all are not afraid to just do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in analysis paralysis,
right? Where
they're just like, well, I don't know which way. And, and I get caught up with that too, like really, really bad. And, what I've come to learn is clarity comes through moving. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just going and then be like, okay, no, don't like this. We're going to go back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or we're going to turn around or make it happen. And you all even from who just decides to go try out for the Olympics? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's
who does that?
You know what I'm saying? And your whole story, even hearing about you all being married, how you came to it's just a series of well, let's just sure, just go as the Lord leads. You know what I'm saying? That's really encouraging.
It's either faith or irresponsibility.
Yeah. So far it's worked for us. I
don't know. I'm serious. The real question is what's the worst that can happen? Absolutely. We change our mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. We learn, we keep it moving. We learn not to do something. That's the worst that can happen. Yeah. Or you end up coming back to Homestead. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst that can happen. So I love that. If you would have any, as we, I guess, start to come to a close, if you would have any advice to anybody, whether they want an RV, whether they want to try Olympics, if they want to, if people are stuck in themselves and they're but what about this, and this, what would be the advice that you would give them from your own experience?
I mean, my advice would be, if you want to do it, literally put the action in place. Even the smallest detail, put the action in place. The smallest detail for us was, just pulling the trigger on making a purchase. Yeah. I was actually on a trip with a friend when Roland found our RV on Craigslist, and he literally FaceTimed me while he was there, and I was, we were talking through what we wanted to check for, and he checked. I trust his eye. So I'm like, if you like it, then let's just pull the trigger. And we pulled the trigger. That was the first big step. It's like, we pulled the trigger. Now we made this decision. We have this RV.
We in it now.
We in it. So my advice would be do something to pull the trigger. If you want to run a ultra marathon, I don't even know if that exists, but an ultra marathon, then start running at least 2-3 miles a day, and start putting that action into place. You can dream about it all day long, but until you put the action into place to actually accomplish it, it's never going to happen, So that would be my advice. Just pull the trigger.
I love that. I love that.
I mean, we live life faith forward, When I say we live by faith, we really do. Yeah. So we legit trust God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a cliche for us. We legit trust God.
Right.
So
and I mean, we've seen him do us buying this land was in itself a miracle. When we came in Houston, you guys, like, to think that we
right.
It's comical. Like, if we had said by July we would be landowners, and we owned 11.33 acres. So we would be landowners, and our account in the negative when we came in here, like, and we didn't have the situation to willing to have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We what?
Yeah.
Our God.
Yeah.
Our God. Seriously, some projects we had worked on came through. Roland got this job. All of this stuff happened literally, and God sent us back here. Yeah. We didn't want to come back here.
Right.
So we can see how his sovereignty works together for our good. You guys, and I mean, obviously, nobody wants to tell you that their financial situation was, in the shambles, but I want to give God all the glory, because that's a testament to what we're doing. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
The whole thing, I mean, we couldn't have imagined, going through COVID. I'm not going to say going through this situation and this happening. Like, are you even serious? Like, with all of that in itself happening, you wouldn't imagine that we would be able to do this, because we didn't have a job when we came back. We weren't expecting to have a job when we came back. Roland literally got that interview, a month after we were back, or 2 weeks after we were back, something like that. And we didn't know, we didn't know anything, and things just lined up, and it's just the way God literally worked everything out. And when he said, he literally laid on my heart, it was like an urgency. Just go drive, go look. And every weekend we would go look. We would just go look. We go drive around, we go look, and we found several places, called them, and one just fit with us, and everything was easy. It was like God literally worked it out. He paid the way for us, so it was not this stressful thing that we were making happen. It was the Lord literally opened the door. So for when he says we literally live by faith, this is how it works. This is honesty. This is rawness. This is it.
And I guess you could probably say, it's almost a muscle that's been developed, right? When we hear God say do something, we just do it and don't ask any questions. I think most people get hung up on the questions, and it's like it's no need to. God has your best interest at heart. You just do it. Like a child. Even when you don't understand, even when nothing makes sense, even when you look at legit what you got going on, you're like, dude, I don't know how this is going to come together. But we knew before we set out that we was going to find our land. We just knew that. We didn't know where, when, how, but we knew that was going to happen. We had ideas of how it was going to happen.
Something totally different, but
we had ideas. Well, we had all kinds of ideas, but when God set the timing right, boom, man, it just happened. When it happened, it just whoop.
That's good.
Got the land. We're like, what? That's great. Okay, well, I guess here come the containers next. You know what I mean? So, but you live faith forward, jump in both feet. I'll obviously have a plan. Be smart. Don't.
Right.
We're not being reckless.
Don't be reckless.
The situation worked out to where we can actually do this. So I don't want y'all to be in the comments like, what are they talking about? They crazy.
Yeah. Don't be reckless, you know.
Yeah.
But seriously, trust God.
And
be fine.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, just to follow up. How do you know that God is telling you to do something? Like, how do you both know, like, okay, this is a God thing? You know, because I think a lot of people struggle with, like, is this me or is this God? Like, is this what I want to do, or is this what God is going to get hung up on, trying to decipher, like, the voice and trying to figure out, okay, who is leading me to do this? Is it me or is it God?
Sure.
I think for one, in the Word of God, you know, God's constantly telling us to tune our ear, to hear His word. And part of doing that, I mean, you can't just automatically tune your ear. I think part of doing that is building a relationship with God by getting into His word, by constantly getting into community. I don't even know if this makes sense to somebody who's listening to this, but getting into communication with Him on a regular basis.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, it's like you know that it's Him talking to you. You know, I don't really know how to either water that down any further. You know.
Well. So again, it's you learn how to trust Him with the small things.
Yeah.
For example, you know, you at home, you leave your keys, and you hear that voice say, "Go get your keys," and you're like, "I don't want to get the keys."
Yeah.
You hear the voice, "Go get the keys." I don't want to get the keys.
Yeah.
You know, and you drive off. And then you realize, in the middle of the day, you don't got the keys. And then you remember how that voice sounded telling you to get the keys.
Or you always say, you know, something told me.
Yeah.
But
it's tuning your ear into that.
Mm-hmm.
You tuning your ear into something told me. Something told me not to do this. Something told me to go this way. Something told me to do this. It's tuning your voice into that voice. And then that's what wisdom is. Wisdom, it's so many facets of wisdom, but one part of it is learning, learning God's, well, first acknowledging God, as that's the first beginning of all wisdom. And then there's an exercise of wisdom where you're walking it out, and then there's another part of wisdom where you're doing, learning as through reading. So the action. The action that you first, one part of wisdom is action related. The other part is learning related. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when you learn through reading, and then when you practice it with the actions, then those two start to line up, and you start to make what seems like these wise decisions, but it's because you built a relationship with God.
Yeah. And I think one example would be like when I felt this urgency to just go look. And it's not like I actually was the one who didn't want to settle down. So it's not like it was my idea, because I didn't want to settle down. I was convinced we were going to go back out there and we're going to keep going and God was going to work it out, but I felt this urgency in me, and I told Roland, I just told him what I felt, and we,
well, no, keep going.
And we did it. We just went, we just went driving. We just hit, okay, let's go this direction this week. Let's go this direction next week. Like we did it. And then I think it was it 3 weeks?
It was like 3 weeks in, we kind of found. But and from my side, I was like, I'm looking. I don't know how this is going to happen if we find something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But again, you're like, well, we trust God.
Yeah.
So if He said go look, we're just going to go. And then legit, while we're looking,
He provides. It's like a ram in a bush.
Man. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, I mean, and then before we know it, here we go. We got some land.
Yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah. And I love that. I love that. That idea of not trying to force things, because I really feel like that's been something that's been resonating, or that's been being told over. And we've been reading books. Like we read this book called Grace Over Grind by Shay Bynes, and it's basically about how the world will tell you, keep pushing, keep grinding, keep hustling, and it's very counterculture to what Christ is saying. He's saying, rest in me, abide in me, be led by me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we get frustrated because we do all this work, and then it's like, God's like, I never even told you to do that. So you're frustrated at me. Yeah. And I didn't even say, I told you to rest in me, follow what I'm leading you to do. And those simple times you're talking about, I've had times when I've left the umbrella in the house and I'm like, something told me to take the umbrella and there's no chance of rain. And then 30 minutes later, it's pouring.
Yeah.
Just simple leadings like that. And I love, because we make it so deep. We make it seem like God is unreachable. We make it seem like we can't really figure out what his voice is. But like that people call it intuition. People call it, like you said, that feeling, like that is God leading. And right now, like, honestly, God has us in a place of, okay, just wait and see. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm comfortable with that now, because I've seen that when I do trust God, it's easier. When you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, you all didn't like force and like go back and forth between somebody trying to, make something happen or go into debt. Like, does that make sense? Like, or like, I don't know, like do something that's painful.
Yeah.
I mean, even like when we got the RV, it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, it was just, okay, boom, we bought it. And then we needed a truck. It wouldn't, I mean, we had the truck.
It was easy. It was just, it was easy. Everything was smooth. And it's because we weren't forcing our wants and desires to make this situation type of, try to happen.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love that. And just, I guess, just a closing note, like the scripture, can't tell you where it is or what verse, but I'm just going to paraphrase. But basically, like, God's gifts don't bring sorrow. Like,
his blessings come without sorrow.
Yes, yes. And that is something, when I read that, I said, yo, like, how much do we push and like scrape in this life? What God gives, it won't grieve you. It won't be heavy. He said, my burden is light. You know what I'm saying? So like this idea, like, I'm okay with saying, like, I feel like I've been wanting to say, I want an easy life. Yeah. And I don't mean like a life without work. That's not what I'm saying. But I want a life that is stress-free. And I believe that God can give that to you. And I love that this is the way that you all are finding this life, is like you all are finding a life for yourself that is stress-free. I mean, of course, there are going to be regular stresses.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But like this idea of making this your own, like, yes, like you wanted to go back out. And so if you would have went out, you guys would probably been stressed out and like, like,
absolutely.
Right. Like, God has a way of like sitting us down even when we don't want to. And so, and so he's gracious like that and kind, but go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that was good. I'm saying, and even being okay with that, like that's tough, right? It's like you have this dream, dog. I wanted to make the team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the plan was to not make the team. The plan was to make the team.
Yeah.
The plan was to travel for a few years, not a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you have to be okay with God's pivots.
Yeah. Yep. That's good.
If you can be okay with Him leading you, then He's going to lead you on a better path than what you were trying to do yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like Angel said earlier, I mean, we would have, if I'd have made the team, all that work would have got shut down.
Yeah. He knew. He saw in advance. Yeah. And y'all are really speaking to us. I just
you can't make it up, man. You just can't make it up.
Yeah.
So here we are. When we came back to Houston, we didn't know that they were going to shut down the entire world.
Yeah. Who would have known? I mean, like, no one could prepare for that.
Yeah.
No. I mean, so this, when you rest in God, then He just has you covered.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for, I know we went over like farther than we thought we were going to go, but everything y'all were saying was like juicy. It was on point. It was on it. And it's speaking, like, I'm just say for myself, like, it's speaking to me, because definitely in this place of like, okay, what next? And being in a place where you're forced to trust God. Like, you don't have to, like, you can do things your way, but it's just easier to trust Him and pivot. And like you said, I love that. Trust His pivots. That's really good. So.
Well, I got half of that from y'all.
Oh.
Hey, that was awesome.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us for this conversation and stuff.
Oh yeah, let everyone know where they can find you and all the things.
Oh, yeah. So you can find us on Instagram at thomasfamily_life and on YouTube, Thomas Family Life. You can also follow our blog, www.thomasfamilylife.com, and on Facebook, Thomas Family Life. So that's pretty much everything.
We might be in Parlor too. You know, got new stuff.
Oh, yeah, Parlor. So there you have it.
But yeah, just Thomas Family Life. You just Google it and you'll find it. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And thanks again to all of our listeners from the Black RVers Podcast. Really appreciate you guys. Continue to like, subscribe, comment, and definitely check out Thomas Family Life. They have wonderful videos. Wonderful. So definitely in the end, you guys mentioned about the propane leak thing. Go watch that video because that'll get you. That'll get you. Yeah. Thanks again, guys.
Well, we appreciate being on here. Thank y'all for having us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Appreciate conversating with you guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So until next time, guys, stay safe, be well. Much love.
Yay.